Hello, guys. We're so glad you're here today. Leanne and Coach Doc, I'm so excited to chat with you guys. And Ryan, of course, we're not going to leave Ryan out here.
How's it going?
What's going on, you guys?
All right, so we're going to start out. We don't have a ton of time, and I have so many questions I want to ask you guys and things I want to know about what you're doing. So really, I would like for you first to introduce yourselves and just let the audience know who we're chatting with here today, please.
Okay. Hi, I'm Leanne Pedante. I am a coach with Supernatural and also the fitness supervisor for Supernatural.
And I'm Antonio Harrison, also known as Coach Doc, one of the fitness coaches with Supernatural, and get to be a part of something great with a good friend in Leanne.
Ryan is the founder of Virtual Athletics League, and he is running the VR Fitness Summit, which is what this presentation is part of. And I am Hasco7. Mostly I'm known for playing Echo VR and promoting VR communities and helping build the whole ecosystem to be positive, inclusive for everybody, because we want people in here to enjoy it. So my very first question is, I have not actually met either of you in person at events, or we haven't really chatted, which is strange because, like, it's a small ecosystem, so we all meet each other. And I really would love to hear your stories about how each of you got involved with virtual reality, like your first experience and how you got to the place where you are at now, please.
Go for it, Leanne.
All right. I'll take it. I mean, I had virtually no experience with virtual reality prior to connecting with Supernatural. I got invited to kind of do a little bit of beta testing when months and months pre-launch. And that was the first time I'd ever put on a headset or really knew what an Oculus was. So it was this whole new world. I feel like I'm still getting caught up in like the absolute infinity of possibilities that exist within VR. It's really overwhelming to step into. I was a graphic designer in my previous life, pre-fitness, and I thought that I was like cool and tech savvy, and then I entered this world and was like, oh, I'm 97 years old and I have no idea what's happening. So that was very shocking. And yeah, and I love it. I mean, the first thing that I noticed and the thing that kind of blew me away with Supernatural and with the idea of working out in virtual reality was that you're not surrounded by mirrors and you're not surrounded by other people, and you can really get lost in the sensations of your body, and you're kind of forced to be super present, which is something that I think is such a gift. So that was kind of my instant love connection with virtual reality.
Let's see. My actual first contact with VR was inside of a science lab at Cal State University, Northridge. One of my good friends, she does a lot of work with VR, and she had me come down, and I was visiting her lab, and they were testing the effects of vision and just kind of what happens with your eyes with prolonged use of VR. And that was, a couple years ago. And then fast forward, I was providing some fitness coaching for a treadmill fitness studio that I was coaching with Leanne at. And I'd like to think when I started doing videos for them, Leanne was like, you might be good at some of this other stuff. And so Leanne introduced me to some folks at Supernatural, and the rest has been kind of history. And I really enjoyed it, especially the community. Like you were saying, it's a smaller community, and we got a lot of love and support for each other, and that's what I'm all about. So I've had a blast doing it, and I hope it doesn't go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that's great. And Leanne, we'll have to chat outside, just like of the ladies group who knew nothing about VR. I didn't even know it existed before I put on a headset in April 2017. And I literally put the headset on and I was like, wow, like this is going to change our world. I never even liked technology and I stayed away from it. And I was just going like, this is the most spectacular, amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Totally.
I totally get your perspective there. It's really great to hear that. And so I guess you just started beta testing and becoming more involved with Supernatural. And now people who are watching this, who are fans, can really hear your voice because they know both of you as coaches, right?
Right.
And so I'm sure for some people, they're just like, oh, this is so cool. And so is this all you're doing now? Are you working on that? Are you doing other things? Or, you know, I mean, are you still doing your graphics design job is what I'm asking? Or are you just focusing on fitness in VR is what I'm wondering.
Yeah. No, I've given up. I was never really that good at graphic design. I realized.
And you're humble. I love it.
I'm not creative. I do much better in this. Yeah. So fitness has been my primary kind of realm. And so working with Supernatural is my main gig now. I do kind of some health coaching and run some groups that are more just kind of the talking and the emotional support that happens like outside of the gym. So I still do some of that kind of health coaching stuff. But yeah, Supernatural has taken over my entire life in the best way possible.
That's great. And what about along that line, as far as fitness and everything? You mentioned that you had been working with somebody, Coach Doc, and looking at the, you know, the eye impact on your eyes and stuff like that. And so I won't give you my opinion on that first. I wonder what you think about that. Now I'm going to tell you what I think in a minute, but I want to hear what you have to say first about that, because since that's how you came into this realm and now you're actually working where you're encouraging people to use VR and use it for fitness and health. So has your opinion changed, or was it ever just, you know, contrary to what you're doing now?
Well, I never had a negative opinion of it. I'm one who takes in information and then likes to decide for myself how I move forward, and kind of like what I talk about in my meditations and a lot of the way I motivate, whether it's VR, it's weight training, it's food intake, alcohol intake, like everything in moderation, in my humble opinion.
Right.
You know, so I don't see anything wrong with utilizing VR. I don't see anything wrong with taking a break from it. I just think that everything in moderation is good to have a nice, balanced, harmonious life.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think the same thing. You know, people freak out about everything, and it's kind of like if you're, oh my gosh, if you drink too much water, it will make you sick.
It's not good for you.
Not possible with VR exercise. Just do it forever.
Yeah, I mean, but that's so funny because all of you at the same time. I was trying to think what's a basic example I can give. I mean, and water is good for you, and if you drink too much of it, you will die.
Yeah.
Seriously.
This is a great PSA because I feel like there are people that don't know.
But I will add, if you're doing VR fitness and exercise, you should drink a lot of water. So now I feel like I'm contradicting myself. Oh my gosh, this is not going well already. Drink the water. Don't drink so much water that it overflows and you die.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a great place to also say we are not giving out medical advice.
Yes,
No.
This is our disclaimer. This is the point in the show where we give our disclaimer, especially if I'm here moderating. You always want to give that disclaimer.
That's right. The doc, Antonio is the only person who's a doctor, I believe, on this panel, and he's not that kind of doctor. So we're just gonna clear our name.
Yes.
All right,
Do
so
you know why you're called Coach Doc? That it's because you're Dr. Harrison. Like, is that? I don't even know if that's a known thing or just.
I think some people might when they, you know, look around and search, but no, yeah. I mean, I've taught graduate school for over a decade. I've coached high school football and also, you know, training in fitness for a long time now. And so, you know, with a doctorate degree in the science of behavior analysis, as well as the actual coaching I do, it just merged this Coach Doc a couple years ago, and it's what it's been. So that is why the name is there.
yeah, it's great because we have Coach Doc and Ryan. He's just simple. He's just Ryan. And then Leanne's all professional. Leanne Pedante. And then you've got Haskell. I'm like gamer mom here. But it's great. I love the VR ecosystem because we can have so many different personalities and types of people and backgrounds. I mean, that's the great thing about what we're doing here. It doesn't matter what race you are, what religion you practice, you know, what language you speak, how healthy you are or not. You know, none of that matters. Everybody can come into things like Supernatural and experience it at the level where they can come in, because I've done it, of course. And, you know, there was a time at which I was in a wheelchair a few years ago, and I would have had to play seated. I now currently do something standing, but there are people who need VR to benefit their fitness stuff. And that brings me to my next question, which is, obviously it's there for physical benefit, and you've got the fitness and stuff, fitness aspect. But what about the emotional benefits? And like, I know there's a little bit more focus coming into as far as meditation and stuff. So can you guys both talk about that just a little bit? You can mention the physical too, of course, the fitness, cardio, that sort of thing. But also I'm really interested in particular with Supernatural, with the meditation aspect of it, of combining that with the fitness.
Well, I'll just say that I've been extremely blessed to get a lot of messages from people saying that, like, during a meditation, I didn't even know things that were going on within me that just all of a sudden let loose. And I was in full on crying, bawling mode. And it just allowed me to let go of things. And that for me was the moment where I was like, I'm in the right place. I get to combine that physical aspect I love of getting healthy and fit, but then also the mental wellness space. And let's be real, like, this is a tough time right now. Like, it's a tough time. I've got 3 young boys, inside my home who luckily have each other to be able to play with. But, it's you can't go outside. You can't, go anywhere without a mask. You're not sure if people are smiling at you or, it's a hard thing to deal with. Even half the time I think I recognize someone and want to say hello, but then I'm not sure. And I mean, there was the other day, a woman in front of me at the grocery store. We kind of had that moment where and she dropped her stuff, and I went to go help pick it up. And I was like, can I help you? Is this okay? Because people freak out about people touching their, and it's just, that's a weird place to be mentally and emotionally. So I love the fact that it kind of brings all of that together, and people have a moment of, though they're in their house inside of a VR headset, they're with us and with the community. And I just had a conversation with a woman from Supernatural members today, and talking about how it kind of brings back her faith in humanity, that there's good things and good people out there. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, totally. And I think the thing that's been so shocking to me too, and I have my split screen, so we're chatting here, and then I have the Facebook group happening on the left side of my screen. And I mean, having no experience in the VR community, it's funny to hear you say it, Haskell. You're like, well, everybody knows everybody. Like, we would have met each other. But my impression of VR prior to experiencing it is like, it is this thing that people are attracted to because of the solitary isolation that you can experience, and like, they're not really looking for social connection. And so I was so pleasantly surprised when Supernatural launched, because working in fitness, the thing that you see change people's lives beyond their own personal kind of physical transformations is like, they have emotional transformations. They form communities at these studios and gyms, and like, it enriches their lives so much because of the other people. And I couldn't figure out how that was going to happen with Supernatural and how that would happen in VR. And here we are. And like, Antonio, Raneir, all of us, even our marketing team, like people that aren't even like a physical presence in the app, we talk to our members every day, like our Facebook group, on all the social channels, in the Supernatural app. Like, I know, whose kids are homeschooling. I know who's like working a 3rd shift. I mean, just like you would in a studio. And it's like this super enriched, beautiful community of people. And that kind of emotional support, especially right now when we're so alone and we're so isolated, is like just changing everything. I'm so pleased. And I mean, I have no idea, maybe that's just the norm for VR communities. I have no idea. I was really excited.
I don't know. There's a lot of special VR communities out there. And just jumping in, because, I'm a huge fan of Supernatural myself, right?
Nice.
And even doing VR fitness and VR esports for the last 4 years or so, I lost about 25 pounds doing like at least 50% VR fitness. And just like Coach Doc, you said, like, the time when I discovered and picked up Supernatural was like March, April, May, right? Like when it was like the most intense, like lockdowns, my favorite gym had closed, and I put on Supernatural, and I'm like, wow, this is like so special, right? And I just get in there and I'd feel better about my day. I'd feel, the world was kind of going crazy, and I'd be like, this is awesome, right? And so my own personal experience of Supernatural has been so overwhelmingly positive, and I guess just adding my comments in there, it's really cool to see that those people are reaching out to you as well, right? So, they've shared those stories, and that must be a pretty cool experience.
Very cool.
So but I wanted to comment real quick too on the community aspect, Leanne, and you and Coach Doc talking about that. I think that people they can't hear this too much, whether you're a developer or whatever kind of program, if you have a league or if you have a group of people like Ryan Virtual Athletics League or, an app or a game or whatever, that you have to invest the time to build the community. Because with VR, what's so special about it is we do have presence in VR. And so like Coach Doc was saying, when you go to the store and someone drops something and you physically are there, you are a presence in their life to show them that another human being actually cares that they dropped something and they're helping pick it up. I know this sounds like, it may sound silly to some people, but I don't think it is. Like, I seriously think this is what brings us together as humans. And so that's why people are struggling so much right now. We can look at our screens and we can talk on the phone and we can text, but touch is so essential to our being as people. And VR right now is giving us that. I mean, it gives me chills, literally. Like, it's giving us that at a time when we don't have that. And some people don't have access to that at all. So building those communities is absolutely essential. So I'm really glad to hear that you're doing that. And yes, you can build them outside. You can build them through Discord or Facebook or whatever. But the point is that you have the option and the opportunity to go be with them. And that's what's cool too about our whole VR community overall. You don't even have to necessarily go to events and stuff all the time. We love that. But you can get with them and train. It's just like going to the gym. Yeah, it's fantastic. So, I think, are we ready to bring somebody in, Ryan, or you want me to go on to the next question?
Yeah. I think we have a special guest, right? But let's, if we can, let's bring him online. But, I also had a question, just as like another Supernatural fan. So music's like obviously a huge part of the experience, right? And Leanne, I've seen you mention on Twitter, like all the punk songs you've grown up with, and like some of the '90s songs are great throwbacks in there, and it's a really cool part of like the daily routine. What kind of music do you like? What kind gets you grooving? And this is for both. Like what would you like to see in Supernatural too, if anything's not there already?
Oh man, it's so funny because I sound like just such a Supernatural, like Kool-Aid drinking junkie right now, but like
I think we all are. So no worries.
Yeah. Like you gotta do it.
I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta try Supernatural
without sounding like I was told to say this, but really, I would have never ever chosen like necessarily. Country would not be a thing that I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna like put that on and like get down. Like it's just not something that's been a part of my life, except for these very few moments. And when we were gonna do a country workout, I was like, oh man, I don't know. What if I don't like it? Like that would be really crappy. And I had so much fun, and I was so surprised at like how much fun I had moving to that music. And so now I feel like nothing is off the table. Like bagpipes might not be
classical music.
Yeah, classical music. Like my favorite workout of all time was like moving to classical music, which was very shocking. But when I'm in my own headphones and I'm like picking up something heavy for fun at a gym, I definitely listen to like crazy aggressive rap or EDM, which is hilarious because I'm a very mild-mannered 36-year-old woman who goes to bed at like 8:30. So, I have no ownership over
That's
like listening to crazy
yeah, I think there's Kendrick Lamar right in there. He's got like some awesome soundtracks, right? And then there is some like Skrillex, I think like Purple Lamborghini. I don't know who does that one, but I think it's like across all of them. So yeah, definitely some like great tracks in Supernatural.
It's really funny how we're being introduced to these new songs that we might not ever otherwise try, like you said with country, because in various VR, all kinds of games across the ecosystem that I play, oh my gosh, I mean, like I I listened to Christian music. Like that's all I listened to, popular Christian music. And now I've been exposed to so much music. It's like sometimes, so I just literally turn it on in my car and everything and jam out to all these things. I'm just going like, I don't even know where this came from, but this is the most spectacular sound.
And so all your neighbors are like, what is this music, right?
Yeah. Oh no, I moved out in the country, so now I don't have any
Okay.
neighbors. I can literally blare this place as loud as I want. I mean, it's just crazy. But yeah, I love that you guys try different things, and I like that comment, Leanne, about, you know, as far as trying country stuff, because you never know if you're raised a certain way or you used to certain things. That's another thing VR can do for us. It can expose us to different people, but it can also make us try something we might not otherwise try because we like the experience. Like if you like Supernatural and you want to work out, then you might go ahead and hear that song you thought you wouldn't like because you actually want the workout. And so, you know, it helps a lot of different people, and it helps us to grow as people too, I think. Coach, I think you were going to add something about that as well.
For sure.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. For me, it's about the exposure. I mean, I have a very eclectic taste in music, but there is also some things that just do not ever come across my radio speakers. Like they just won't. And then the challenge of saying like, okay, this isn't my style of music, but I have to coach and motivate through this. Is this going to work? How is this going to come across? And then finding yourself really getting into it and kind of putting yourself in the shoes of the person who's doing the workout and what they need in that moment has been pretty eye-opening for me and opening up my taste a little bit more to add into that eclectic mix that I have. So that's been the most amazing part for me, is that exposure that you're talking about, Haskell.
That kind of brings us to the next question, actually, that we were going to ask you guys. And that involves, we have the exposure there to the music and stuff. And so what about right now specifically? And I don't even know that it's just specifically right now, but do you think we're exposing people to options for fitness that they otherwise wouldn't have necessarily have had? And for me personally, I'm interested in the people who would never step foot in a gym. Like they might somehow, somewhere have access to a headset and try it. And then, you know, try some of these games that are out there, and like Supernatural will say, you know, I kind of like this. They might get involved with that. And if you get them stuck in the community, then they're definitely invested. But what do you think about the, you know, as far as the exposure for those kind of people? What kind of difference are we making now? And what do you see as the future for this whole ecosystem and the world? What do you see for the future for people? I mean, is this going to be something that helps people?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Right. I think that's the dream. And you mentioned being in a wheelchair, right? And like that, there are so few fitness spaces that are prepared to even handle that, which is like a very commonplace need. And that if that is not being accommodated, then like the spectrum of things that are also not being accommodated for all of the people who have a varying, you know, physical, emotional, social needs, like all of those things are being ignored heavily in most fitness spaces. And so I think anything that like widens that amount of access, like VR, I mean, you can certainly do a Supernatural workout from a seated position, right? And you will sweat and your shoulders will be burning, and like that is completely a possibility. I think that we're only kind of starting to like scratch the surface as to what's possible. And I think that that's one of the greatest powers, because I remember, you know, Antonio has been like a cool jock his whole life, so he doesn't know what this is like, but I remember having to like pep talk myself.
Antonio does look very cool, both in Supernatural and this panel. So
I saw his throwback.
Yeah, he really does.
20 years ago, he was too cool to hang out with me. It's like great. It's hilarious. But I totally remember having to like sit in my car in Delaware at the YMCA and like pep talk myself into not being too scared to go inside and like take a class, because I just thought whatever I thought I was going to look stupid. I thought I was going to fall down. I thought people were going to think I didn't belong there. I mean, just so many things. And like, yeah, you exponentially, there's millions and millions of people who never get out of their car. And so how are we going to get them moving and feeling good? Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. People need to realize that you go into a gym and you find the occasional person that doesn't look like the gym person. But for the most part, I mean, no offense to all the gym people watching this, but they look healthy and they act healthy and they have good looking bodies and stuff. And so I'm going to sound really terrible here, but it's just the point that there are a lot of us who don't. So, you have to work towards that point. I've lost like almost 50 pounds since I've been playing VR, specifically just because of doing VR. Thank you. And, and I'm no longer in a wheelchair. I no longer take any pain medication or any kind of medicine for that matter because of VR. And we have, I actually don't think I'm an anomaly. I think there are so many people out there who are unhealthy, who are overweight, who are not able to have access, whether it's money or time or distance or shame, whatever their issue is, they will never go to a gym. And so something like this absolutely is, gosh, it almost makes me cry. Like, it is their pathway to a better life. We just have to literally make sure they're aware that these options are out there. And so, yeah, man, I'm real passionate about VR fitness. So this is why I write for VR Fitness Insider and do stuff with people like Ryan.
Well, and if I can add on the flip side to that too, like, yes, the gym can be very intimidating, but also it can be very annoying, right? Like, I didn't go to gyms because I didn't want to watch people take selfies for 20 minutes on a machine. Like, I'm here to work. And then the other part of it was like, if it came to cardio, I needed a ball, points to score, an obstacle to run around. Like, I wasn't going to get on a treadmill and run for 5 miles. Like, that was not my thing. But for someone who has, done athletics all their life, for me to put on a headset, go through an 18-minute workout and be drenched and have so much fun and say, okay, this I can totally do. And I'm enjoying it. And I don't have to go to the gym and watch that person, change outfits to take pictures and use up the time and space. And also not make anybody feel intimidated about being there. Like, this is great. And I feel like where I've seen that most is people who would never, ever, ever post their workout videos are posting their workout videos.
Yeah.
So much
on
pride,
for sure.
power in what they're doing. And it's just a beautiful thing.
And it's improving people. Like, it's not just the physical improvement, but when we can take humans and make them feel better about themselves, regardless of however that's happening in them emotionally and psychologically, people have amazing capacity to do things. And, people have gifts and talents that they never use.
Yeah.
I love humans. And it's just like, there's so many people out there that have things they're not doing because they're drawn back by that bad health or the fact that they feel bad about themselves emotionally or whatever. When you can get them to working out and feeling better physically and emotionally, man, I'm ready for like the next enlightenment or something. Is, we're going to have like great artwork and look at the things that are being created in VR. Seriously, like Rosie Summers and some of these people, they're doing that kind of stuff. Although she's very fit already. So, but anyway, sorry, I get off track. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? The point is, we can make people feel better and they can do good things. And so it all works together. We just have to help people.
And if you take pictures of yourself, you can just take a picture of yourself, selfie at home with your VR headset on, right?
Yeah. I'm taking a picture of my avatar, Ryan. I look good in my Echo clothes.
The Echo clothes are super cool.
Yes, I can pick what I want to wear and take a picture, and I look good.
I have been trying to figure out if there's like another, because now my phone is just filled with pictures of me with the headset, like this part of my face is really white and the rest is really red. I don't love that look. I gotta say, I feel like, can we make a filter that inverts the coloring or something?
The science is great because there's actually new science coming out that says having music and then being in VR, actually, like what Coach Doc said, actually causes people to go longer and their perceived effort is lower. I think, Sonia, that's been in VR Fitness Insider. It's coming this academic research now, and we may have other people talk about that during the summit too. But Leanne, the after effect is you take off your headset and you're like, wow, I got this like VR headset swag thing going on. But while you're in VR, you don't even notice. So that's the good thing. Yeah.
Well, that's how we're having people be able to use it for physical therapy and stuff too. Like, if you're in pain, if you're in pain and you have to go out here and walk, like doctors will tell you, go walk. That's the healthiest thing you can do. Oh my gosh, that's the stupidest thing. You go out there, walk. The whole time you're listening to dogs barking. You got the wind blowing in your face. You're thirsty. You have you're sweating. And all you can think about the whole time is, wow, man, I'm hurting so badly. I'm talking about from somebody who has had massive damage to parts below my abdomen. So when you're hurting so much, the last thing you want to do is walk. And sometimes you go walk and you can't get back because you're in so much pain. Well, you just did what they said and you walked somewhere. And now you're like, okay, I'm stuck here now. So, with VR, you don't pay attention to that pain, Ryan. Like what you're just saying,
right?
When you're listening to
the science
music
is behind it. It's real.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you do? I'm wondering for you coaches, when, do you ever experience that in your chat and stuff and you hear people saying these things? I'm sure you must, they're saying these kind of things and the pain is lessened while they're in VR, but how do you encourage the ones who are saying, I'm dealing with this and I can do it in there? Because this is what happened to me. I was fine when I was in VR. So I was focused on that environment. But when I got out, the effect actually lasts a few hours, like 2 to 3 hours after. But then after that, I would have to get back in VR to try to get my mind off the pain again. So are you guys seeing that with any of your, your community members, and how would you handle that? And if you haven't seen it yet, how would you encourage them, or what would you say to them?
It's interesting. I don't have a specific
example,
feeler for that. I'm looking to our amazing community because I feel like someone is probably chiming in on the comment thread.
Yeah, it's time to take comments anyway.
Yeah,
so maybe they have some feedback there.
I think some questions that are coming out. This is an easy one. For Coach Doc and Leanne, have your family members got to try Supernatural yet?
Totally. I put all 3 of my boys in it, my wife in it. My wife has her own profile. The boys would like to use it a lot more, but I restrict it just because of online learning. They're on a screen constantly. So I want to give them a break from stuff like that. And, but no, everybody has tried it. I've also introduced it to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their 3 kids.
Nice.
One of my friends. So anybody who's like, what is this stuff you keep posting about? When they're over, come on, jump in the head.
That's the hard part about working in VR. Everybody's like, what do you do again? And then you explain it to them. They're like, now tell me again.
What do you do?
Yeah. All right. So that was a great question. So cool. So cool to see. All right. So another question is, what's next for Supernatural? I mean, you may or may not be able to give us all the previews or inside knowledge, but, is there anything that you're really excited to see, that you can talk about?
Maybe
we'll skip that question. But
there's so much cool stuff coming.
I guess
you can.
I guess maybe another question to spin off that is Supernatural obviously came out, right? And then, the community Discord and other things launched, and there's a lot of changes even from the original thing. What kind of drove those changes, and what have you seen that you've really liked recently?
Totally. Yeah. And one thing that I can definitely at least speak to is that we released a stretching module in the past month. And that got really, really great feedback. So we're definitely going to have more dedicated stretching workouts. There's so many things happening, but I have no idea what I can or cannot say. So we're going to err on the side of
we're getting 2 comments. We're getting people say merch.
Oh yeah.
They want Supernatural shirts and everything.
The merch is coming. Coming.
All right. And then cool stuff coming. So.
I will add this though, that I think Leanne will agree with me on. Supernatural, the team has done such a good job listening to the comments of the community members. You were the ones really driving the change. We're not sitting saying we should do this, and this. We're hearing the comments, we're hearing the suggestions, and I gotta give Supernatural credit for actually taking them and running with them. There's not a lot of people who do that. A lot of people will just do their own thing instead of listening to the folks who make up their community. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We're getting, and I mean, even in this comment thread, of the interview that we're doing right now, our marketing team and our teams are going to like read the comments and be like, what were people really excited about? And then we're going to have conversations about,
can we like integrate this, right?
You know, so it is a very immediate kind of feedback loop. So whatever you want, just keep saying it loud.
Yeah, I think Profiles new that just came out, right? That was super great.
My
Profiles are huge.
And he was always really, every time he'd get in my headset, I'd be like, well, just try not to bring my score down, okay?
That's pretty great. Yeah, because you can share it now with your family member, right? Without necessarily losing your spot on the leaderboards, right?
Yes, everyone can have their own leaderboards and unique situations, which is great.
Yeah, but that's motivating, right? Like even when I do Supernatural, I'll check in and I'll be like, okay, there's some familiar faces on this leaderboard as I add people as my friends. And I'm like, okay, am I going to beat so-and-so this week? Right.
Yeah.
And then I get back to it next week. Right. And I'm like, okay, I'm really tired, but I got one more Supernatural song to go and I can make it. Right. And then what?
Raneir.
Surprise guest.
Am I in? Can you hear me?
Actually, I hear Raneir's voice in my mind. He's like, one more song, baby. Like I can literally hear that from the workout yesterday. And he's like, keep on going. And I'm like, okay. Leaderboards. Raneir's talking to me. I got to keep on going. So
that was a really good impression of me.
I tried. Man, what was it? Was it Chumbawamba yesterday? I was listening to
my heart.
So.
No one in the universe has gotten that excited about tub thumping, other than Raneir excited about tub thumping.
That's so cool.
Guilty Pleasures playlist. I'm against it. I'm a proud pleasure. That's a proud pleasure of mine.
Yeah, that's so rad. All right. So I think we got everybody's super excited. Thanks for joining us here. The Facebook and everything's going great. So Sonia, do you have any questions here? Or we got some more audience questions we can go over.
Yeah, I had one more question I wanted to ask these guys. So, all right. Now, you guys all look like really good. So, physically. So what we want to know, I know there's some people out there just wanting to ask this, of course. So I know the benefits of VR fitness and working out in VR, but some people add in, weights and stuff, which we're not doctors, we're not recommending, but you have to be very careful in VR about what you use or don't use, because you will hurt yourself, depending on what you do. So I want to know for you guys, do you supplement with anything else? Or obviously you probably eat healthy. I'm sure you drink plenty of water, but not too much. And
just remember,
don't drink too much water. And so anyway, that was a question that had been sent earlier that I wanted to remember to ask you guys. Do you do anything else, or do you just do Supernatural now?
Yeah, I mean, I do, because this is like, it didn't used to be, but now that I got into, when I finally forced myself to walk into that YMCA, like then I realized that I really like the endorphins and that it's really thrilling for me to like think that I can't do something and then try and then be able to do it 6 weeks later or 6 years later. So fitness and working out has become like, it's what I spend most of my free time money on. It's really boring. It's boring, but I love Muay Thai. I like sparring and getting hit in the face and kicking people, and that feels really good to me.
But you can't do that right now, right, Leanne?
Yeah, I can only just inanimate objects. No,
just in VR, right? There's some VR fighting.
Yeah, I can hit a bag. I have a place where I can hit a bag, but it doesn't hit back.
No, that's a great workout. Totally agree.
Yeah, because I'm a violent woman too, and so I really like hitting people and things. I do like hitting people in real life, but anyway, it's one of those. Sorry, I really should stop talking sometimes, but I get it. Okay, I get it. Like the physical thrill and all that.
Sonia, we know you're competitive in Echo.
Yes. It's my greatest thrill in life is to go through and like just knock the crap out of them sometimes.
Yes.
So I should really just stop before they quote me on this. But Leanne, so I'm assuming you can't do this in real life right now because of COVID. That's what I was getting at. So are you doing those things in VR? That's what I was trying to ask.
Oh, I haven't taken on doing them in VR. So Supernatural, I do in VR. That's kind of the only fitness program that I do in VR. Everything else, I'll do externally. I do weights, you know, at a friend's garage. I hit a heavy bag with that, and then I do VR as kind of my my cardio and fun, and just like fun time.
Yeah.
And meditation too, right? I'm guessing kind of more.
I do,
meditation.
I do meditate probably five out of 7 days.
Yeah. Okay.
We got
that's
a comment. Leanne is straight up gangster. But
I want to piggyback. I completely am on Leanne's wave with that. I just think fitness, the one thing I can say that I did differ with, I think fitness is so fun. In life, it's so hard to get to watch your growth and get to see it. And with physical fitness, that's my most favorite thing. Every time I go to work out, there's something I'm able to lay into that feels a little new for me. And I love Supernatural for it. It's the newest form of movement that I've been to discover that excites me. That's brand new to me. That every time I'm in, a new workout, a new map, and the creativity that I see that they're putting into these movement patterns and the songs that they're going to, like I get amped and I get excited and I'm not expecting it. And then I hear someone that played one of my same, like that worked out to the same workout that I did, that felt those same kind of changes that I did, that comment on it. I'm like, this is special and I love it. And I just think
so cool.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm just amped
That's
listening
great.
to you. Like, I mean, that's a great coach.
Yeah, that's why you do it. It's great.
I think with fitness, it's the more the merrier. How much time do you really have? Like when I go on vacations, I'm on vacation because my workout is longer. I'm like, why do I need to rush? I don't have anywhere I need to be. My workout is long. I can sit here. No one's bothering me. If I want to sit and talk to somebody, I'm going to talk to you even longer. Who cares? I'm on vacation, right?
Yes.
I've definitely brought my VR headset, like, when traveling, right? Because I'm like, this is going to be my workout, like in the hotel room, right? And I'm just like, this is pretty enjoyable. All right, Coach Stock, anything, VR fitness is obviously super cool, super new. We have a ton of titles in this VR fitness summit. People are getting their workouts in, but anything outside of VR that you really personally enjoy, or your kind of your go-to workouts?
I do a Shaolin stretching routine every morning. That is huge for me. And then the other part is meditation. Like it's the workout I put my mind, your brain, your breathing, it's all muscles, right? So I'm working those muscles just as well. So that way, when I step into VR, I can be at the height of where I want to be. I used to swim a lot and play a lot of basketball, but can't do that anymore right now. So that's been kind of tough. And I do a lot of body weight and the weight training, not so much anymore, just because I beat my body up so much with it in college doing football. So that kind of gets pushed to the side, but definitely the meditation, this Shaolin stretching, Supernatural. And when the moment I can get back into a swimming pool, I'm there.
Nice.
Ryan, I want to pop in and say something about what he just mentioned. It's important. My main focus is VR esports, and it's so important with these guys. They're doing fitness. They're still working out. These are intense workouts, and you can really get cardio and stuff. But it is important for people to remember that it is your whole body and your whole being. So it's important for, like we mentioned earlier, water, but also stretching. People should be stretching and doing things like that to take care of their whole being if they're going to do VR fitness. And so, you can do that and start feeling better and get those endorphins Leanne and I were talking about, and just feel better physically, but also mentally. Take care of yourselves mentally. And so for VR Fitness Summit, and what we talk about at, VR Fitness Insider, is also just that whole package. You can work on that whole package together. So that's one of the things I really, really like about Supernatural. I do think that you guys have that, like, listen, motivational, do this and stuff. And then, the building up the workouts and stuff. So it's great. This is benefiting people so much.
Yeah, the chat's just going crazy, for the whole Supernatural, or I'm sure there's some people will watch this later as well. And so we're going to take a few more audience questions here. So as I look through this, okay. We got one question about music, another question about music.
As soon as, also, can I just point out that as soon as Raneir's square popped up,
the chat went crazy.
Thread, people going, twerk.
Right. We did get a ton of that. Won't lie. I'm very honest there. Okay. All right. So we can do the music question. I guess it's for Coach Doc and Raneir. Any of you guys musicians? We'll go there. I think that was one question. Let's take.
Are you a musician, Raneir?
A musician? Only.
He appreciates great
questions. All right. We got a question on AR. That would be crazy. AR in Supernatural. I got a question actually for everybody. So I love the environments in Supernatural, and this was a question a little bit earlier. There's one in Laos. There's one over the rice paddies in China, right? There's one here in Utah, like the Abajo Mountains. I think everyone's done that. If there was one Supernatural location that you could do, you could add, what would it be? And this will be for everybody, for all the coaches.
Do y'all know? I know mine.
More volcanoes.
I know.
Right?
I saw you. Quick.
The volcanoes are so cool. The lava moves, right? So
I would want to be in the deserts of Egypt around the pyramids.
Whoa. That one's great. I think there is one, isn't there?
Kind of. I mean, there's Machu Picchu and the pyramids, but I would want to be with the Sphinx behind you and
rad. That'd be so cool, right? Okay, Supernatural team. Whoever's in charge of filming, I don't know who that is. Please add that in next week, just selfishly. All right, let's just go around. Where else would we like to go?
I do like mystical places, and I guess I'd blend a little mystical with reality and play in space, but
the moon,
like surrounded by the planets.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So you're like going around the axis. You're like, "Hey, Earth," and then you keep
International Space Station, right? That would be so cool. Actually, they did take VR on the International Space Station recently. We got to get them to play Supernatural as well, right? Let's send that suggestion over there.
Yeah, of course. That's great.
Yeah, and then Leanne, where would you like to go?
I think that I would do something go deep into the jungles of the Amazon or something, because really in a dense part where there would be lots of snakes and huge spiders, because there's very, very little chance that I'll ever do that in real life. And I don't like the humidity, don't really like the snakes. So yeah, I just feel like there's just a good chance that I don't see that before I die, and it'd be really cool to have a chance to.
Yeah, you want to hang out with the jaguars, the poisonous snakes in Brazil, but not quite get there, right?
I don't want to ever go into water that has snakes in it. I just don't.
Okay, all right, yeah, but Supernatural, we can work out over those, so it'll be good. Nice environment.
I have a question about that though, Leanne. Don't you think if because VR is so immersive, you don't think it would distract you from your workout if you were in that kind of environment, in particular?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I definitely thought, there's the Great Wall of China environment that we have in Supernatural. I always am kind of torn because I want to just look around, and I forget that I'm there to do something. So yeah, that's very, very likely that I would just get really distracted.
Maybe they could make the little things coming at you, like little spiders and stuff, and you slice them or something, and then that way you're not scared of them, you're destroying them.
That's a great also sounds a little bit like a nightmare, but
all right. So let's do 2 more questions, I think, right? Or we can handle a couple more, but we've gone a little bit over in time, but we've just had a super engaged chat. Everybody's just been super loving it. We've got somebody else that said they're 56 years old. They've never exercised in their life. They like Supernatural, right? That's a great comment there. We got somebody else who's going to hop in. They've had some allergies, but they're going to get back into Supernatural. Let's see. We got some questions about mapping. Let's see. Just some of there. All right. Let's pick 1 or 2 more questions. I guess mapping. Do you guys have any influence in that? Obviously, you're coaching to the mapping. Any particular favorite beat maps? Disclaimer, I know the mappers. I chat with them on Discord. So shout out to Benny, right?
Yes, our mappers are insanely talented humans.
Yeah.
And Benny is a freaking genius.
Yeah. Hey, super rad.
I just reached out to one of our new mappers yesterday. Who's doing some phenomenal work. Something for, can I tease this?
You can totally tease it. It's coming out soon.
Oh my gosh. This map is very like low graduating to medium. And that was just such a fun kind of experience to have. It was very, even just still brand new to me. When you go through, breaking down, when you go to levels that are supposedly beneath you, you learn so much more. Going back to basics is something that I just try to, if I can encourage more people to do it. You think that you've passed something, you go back and you're like, the new skills that I've been able to hone. And
there's a lot of technique.
Yeah, and it just feels like you can go back to an old workout and it can feel completely different just with your new strength gains and mobility gains. So,
yeah.
I love the fact that when he's talking about this, it's like, it's always nice to get a gift, but it's so much better when you can give someone a gift. And he's like just bursting with the news and just to get it out there. And you guys, you give people all the users a gift every day with Supernatural. So it's great that you have that kind of personality where you really enjoy giving to others, because as coaches, that's what you're doing. You're helping people change their lives for the better. And so it's like you get to be Santa or something every day of your life.
We are getting to this question. What does Supernatural have in store for the holidays?
See, Santa. It's them.
Effortless segue.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to convince them to let me take my shirt off as a holiday gift to everyone.
Oh, for Christmas.
Just do it. Just do it now.
Is that a gift? Is the problem?
No, you have to do it now. That will really draw in viewers for the show. For the after he
viewership will probably triple. So
he did it.
Facebook there.
All right, Coach Doc, it's your turn too.
You encourage me.
Yeah, I think we got. Let's do exactly one more question. Let's not. Somebody said more murder hornets. We're not going to do that one.
Stop with taking the shirts off, people.
Okay.
You're trying to be all serious.
I can't focus on the interview.
Come on, Ryan. That was more fun.
You can just go follow Raneir's Instagram if you want to see.
Follow Raneir's Instagram. Okay. All right. So we'll just do one last thing as we close this out. I guess just final thoughts on Supernatural. Final thoughts on the VR Fitness Summit. What's next? Just let's go around, Leanne and Coach and Raneir. Let's all go there, and then obviously follow Raneir on Instagram, right? Because that's the place to be. So, all right. So let's hear from one everybody else. Just one last time here.
I want to go last. You guys go first.
That was kind of maybe a tough question. It's like, can you talk about anything? It's your chance to talk about anything.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Because I know you're going to say something wonderful and you just want it to be laughed, which I understand. God, where is the reality show where the three of us have to live in a cabin for a month together?
Yeah, Supernatural 2.0. All right.
Coach Doc. Okay. So final thoughts. I mean, honestly, just kind of bringing it back to where we started the conversation and Hasko talking about what VR is and how much of a community and how much of an ecosystem it is. It has just been such a blast to get introduced to all of these people. It's been so amazing time and time again to see how people show up for each other and how left to their own devices, people are supportive and they're encouraging and they want to see the best in each other. And that just keeps getting proved every single day in VR. And I think that, one of the things that made me fall in love with fitness as a non-jock was the fact that it is this path that lets people transform themselves. And you prove that you can do this thing with your body. And then you realize that you can do all these things with your mind and with your life. And to see that happening in Supernatural, to see our communities talking about that happening is truly the stuff that makes life worth living. And I'm just really grateful that to like know that this whole ecosystem of VR and VR movement exists. And Hasko, if you ever come to LA, I think you should become a supernatural coach.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to look nearly as good as you guys, but I can sure slice and knock and hit things.
You got a lot to say. You got a lot to say.
But thank you very much. I do have the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
All right, Raneir, I'm gonna let you go last. Let me jump in here. I like poking at Raneir. It's fun. No, I just want to. I guess I'll leave it with this. You know, a lot of the community members show us so much gratitude, but I need all of them to know that they do just as much for myself and these coaches as they say we do for them. You know, I used to really try to get away from social media, not be around any of that, because I would open up something with notifications and you'd see people arguing and nothing really positive or these horrible stories. And now I get excited to see the notifications because I want to see what people are saying, how they're doing. It fuels and drives me to try to be better. And so as much as we're doing everything we can for the community, I want the community to really know that they are just as much a part of this and so integrated in reciprocating. So I'm super grateful and I appreciate all of you. For me to sit back and say to someone like, oh, what do you do? And I'm saying I'm a virtual reality fitness coach. Like those are words I would have never strung together before. And to be super proud about that.
Yeah.
And to feel the love that I do, it's humbling. So thank you.
Love it. That's so cool. Yeah. Reason to go on social media. So well said. All right. Tough to follow up, but go ahead.
Because honestly, I was just going to take my shirt off again and twerk, but
Just do it.
And I'm very much about consent. So you asked before this all started where Supernatural is going and what we're excited about. And I think what is so unique for me, it's the first time that I've got to be a part of a young company. And it's a company that shares my excitement for fitness and for movement. And they want to progress. They want to grow. They want to hear opinions, informed opinions. They're not afraid to explore. So the truth of the matter is, I'm excited for what's next, but I don't know what it's going to be. I'm excited to be a part of creating what's next. I trust the people that I'm working with. I feel honored to be in a group of people that really care about this business and really care about what we're doing for this world. And, you know, we're creating our legacies and we feel honored to be able to do that. So few people get to really do something that they love for a living. And we're all honored to be a part of that group of people. And yeah, I just can't wait to see where it goes. But I know I want to be right here with it. Okay.
So cool. All right. Well, I'm just over here. I'm going to put on Supernatural. I'm going to get my workout in right it now. Like, I'm just so motivated.
You better go.
All right. Well, we have gone over nearly twice as long as we had planned, but, you know, just so cool. Thanks for hanging out even longer. Thanks, Raneir, for jumping on here. You know, Sonia, thank you for moderating this. So privileged to do this as part of the VR Fitness Summit. And I guess we just have to wrap it up until next time, until the reality TV show.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just want to say, Raneir, I'm glad you jumped on because somebody in the group, I don't remember who it was, maybe you do, Leanne, but they described us, or you shared it, Raneir, as the 3 different parts of the triangle, different styles. And I was like, I love that triangle.
There's the train. All right, the train's coming.
Nice job, you guys.
Okay. All right. Okay, thanks, everybody.
Good job, you guys.